Before we talk about unsafe stunts, let's talk about your unsafe inbox. You see, most of us have no choice but to accept that when we're online, free is anything but. Like, we get all of these tools for nothing, except that in exchange, tech giants treat our personal data like a product to be harvested. What's more, this is even extended to our emails. Because while these days most of our messaging apps are encrypted, we still use inboxes that scan our messages to build ad profiles. That's why you should check out this video sponsor, Proton Mail. It's a secure, private alternative to big tech that actually treats your inbox like it belongs to you. It uses end-to-end and zero-access encryption, which is a fancy way of saying only you can read your messages. Not even Proton can see them. It's also aiming to provide an overall better experience. It blocks those invisible trackers that companies use to spy on your habits, and even has a newsletter view that lets you clean up your subscriptions with one click to actually stay organized. And if the thought of moving years of email sounds like a headache, they have a migration tools that brings over your contacts, calendars, and old messages from Gmail in a few clicks. And you can even set up email forwarding to ensure you don't miss anything from your old inbox. Take back your privacy and start a free account at proton.me/Jimmy Robbins. Thanks to Proton for helping keep the lights on. Let's get to the video. David Dobrik might be the best example of a universally beloved creator becoming a universally polarizing one. I mean, plenty go from at the top to, well, rock bottom, but David, man, if you heard two descriptions of him, you'd probably think they were about two completely different people, even if they were coming from the same guy.
David Dobrik invented a genre on YouTube.
And David Dobrik's not a victim at all. He's not a victim. Natalie's not a victim. But there are victims in this story.
Yet it's kind of all true. David Dobrik is a creator with this infectiously positive persona, the kind that makes you want to root for him. But that almost childlike demeanor has led to a lot of pain for a lot of people.
A young woman who was featured in a David Dobrik vlog back in 2018 claimed that she was raped by a Vlog Squad member, Dirty Dumb, the night that they were filming a vlog for David's channel.
It's a lifelong injury that I didn't even realize at first. Like, I'll be getting eye surgeries once, twice a year till I'm fucking 80.
It is so incredibly tough as a man to have to say that you were sexually assaulted.
Which led to an uncomfortable question. Was it all a facade, where David was nothing more than a user who knew how to turn pain into entertainment? Or arguably worse, did he just never consider the power and responsibility that came with the money and fame? I mean, it's not every day that someone makes it onto Forbes' 30 Under 30 only to disappear the next year, all while abandoning millions in potential earnings.
He walked away from millions of dollars and all he had to do was talk to me for 40 minutes a week. And Jack he'll text me, he'll be like, he walked away from $10 to $20 million.
And in the years that followed his sudden departure, it started to seem like David would never make his return to YouTube. That is, until out of nowhere, he did.
This is season 2 of David Dobrik's vlogs. Cue intro card.
Yes, David Dobrik has returned to YouTube in 2025, with a comeback that, on one hand, is incredibly successful, with him gaining millions of views with each upload. But on the other hand, it's kind of underwhelming. Honestly, even boring. I mean, he's not really making waves on YouTube beyond posting vlogs, despite the collabs and stunts that drove his earlier success. I mean, how is this man getting millions of views per video, yet without any meaningful bump in subscribers or people really caring? Well, it's because for the first time ever, David Dobrik wants to be an invisible YouTuber who isn't seen unless it's on his terms. And this peculiar approach is actually kind of a brilliant one if we figure out his latest angle. Though you can't talk about a comeback without mentioning the downfall that made one even possible in the first place. Now, David Dobrik first made a name for himself on Vine with his 6-second skits.
Give me all your money! It's over here, man. Yeah, here you go. Give me all your money!
And despite the great success he saw, he found himself in a sudden crisis alongside every other Viner.
What happened to Vine? They were like, we can't monetize just our website.
And we told them, listen, we just want to get compensated like YouTube. YouTube is compensating based on the ads, right?
Sure.
So that's what we wanted, and they were not seeing that at all.
But of course, some turned this into an opportunity to find mainstream success beyond anything Vine was capable of. And on YouTube specifically, David Dobrik wound up taking over, at least when it came to vlogging.
Remember the first time I saw Dobrik's vlog, I was like, what is this? This is nonsense, and it's amazing. And no one does that. Now that's becoming a thing. These like series of just relentless, hilarious non sequiturs. That is brilliant.
And one of the reasons that this was so notable is that at this time, YouTube was heavily pushing for videos to become longer and longer.
YouTube wanted to compete with Netflix, and so therefore encouraged the algorithm on watch time and longer videos. And then therefore you can get more ads. And so therefore everyone started doing 10, 15, 20-minute videos.
Yet in the years that followed, David was reaching unprecedented heights with vlogs that were as short as he could possibly make them, which is especially interesting since the genre, especially day in the life styled vlogs, had been dying out on the platform. What's more, the genre has no barrier to entry other than just being able to do this. And the more competition a YouTuber faces from within their genre, the stronger their hook has to be. So what was David's solution? Well, much like Casey Neistat leaning on his filmmaking talents, David used the advantages that were unique to him. Like all of those Viners who were suddenly scrambling to maintain their careers, sounds to me like a bunch of natural entertainers with some time on their hand that would make the perfect foundation for an ensemble cast.
I don't want you guys thinking that I actually do cocaine and that I always have cocaine. It's not true, it's just a bit.
Yo, Heath, I got some coke.
Whoa, move!
So instead of the vlogs focusing on him, David would primarily be behind the camera, providing a first-person perspective on the antics of this group.
Are you guys in the mood for vlogs?
I mean, it sounds simple, but said simplicity went on to become the award-winning Vlog Squad.
And then streaming for ensemble cast goes to the Vlog Squad.
And the second hook was the length of his videos, as David became one of the only YouTubers ballsy enough to cut his videos to be as short as possible in order to effectively hijack the YouTube algorithm. Which, if that sounds like a bold claim, just hear it from Logan Paul's editor at that time.
That meant actually users were staying on the platform longer because they were binging, and therefore were actually fed more ads. And so YouTube's algorithm was so confused and then pushed the videos everywhere because so many people were watching so many more ads. And so we actually challenged and beat the system because of it. I will openly admit, David Dobrik is the one who put that seed in our head. He was years ahead of us on that realization.
And when it came to the Vlog Squad, it seemed like they had a symbiotic relationship to David, where he would get the content he needed while these creators would gain massive exposure, enough to effortlessly build a career around.
And so then I made a very, very bad first YouTube video with him. 4 months later, I was making $35,000 a month.
Really?
Yeah.
Not to mention that as David's wealth grew, he started leaning into that heavily for his content.
Jarvis, close the mask. Have you ever seen a plane crash and it can't get its stuff down? So
Is it the slide?
It's the slide.
What's more, there was his podcast Views. Co-hosted with Jason Nash, they were apparently being offered contracts in the millions by the time David left.
He'll give me figures. He walked away from 10 to $20 million.
So as the leader of this group of newly minted YouTubers, David Dobrik made a name for himself as an incredibly generous, kind guy. Because while those making similar wealth-based vlogs, like the Paul brothers, would center their brands around creating envy,
for an updated house tour, we put $2 million into this house. Now we'll reveal it to you.
David played the underdog who made it and just wants to share the riches with as many of his loved ones as possible.
SeatGeek is an amazing app. You've seen them help me surprise my friends with brand new cars. So today, they're gonna help me surprise all the Dobrik's employees with Tesla.
And his famously goofy, excitable demeanor made him feel all the more authentic. It genuinely felt like David was just flying by the seat of his pants and having fun.
It's a water fountain like you get at school, but instead of water, check this out. It's fruit punch. It's freaking ridiculous.
Likely because he didn't want people to see him as a tycoon carefully planning each and every move. Because say what you will, but it takes a lot of brilliance to achieve what David was able to with the Vlog Squad. So what happened? Well, the very keys to the Vlog Squad's success also ensured their demise, as various scandals came to light that were seemingly caused by the blurred lines of David's content. This included accusations of assault and misconduct.
Hannah said Audrey told her that Zagleitis was having sex with Hannah and didn't stop as Hannah showed signs of losing consciousness, so Audrey, quote, took over to get Zagleitis to stop. And several of the guys, along with David, joking in the car that they're now going to go to jail.
John just had a 3 and I think we're all going to jail.
Was gonna have Corinna in an old man mask while I was making out with her, and then switched her out with Jason Nash.
Making videos at the expense of other members.
He set the environment that it was okay to make fun of me. And I knew by saying that I wasn't gonna be in the content anymore.
As well as Jeff Wittek suffering a near fatal injury to his skull.
I needed time to process what happened to me. It's a lifelong injury that I didn't even realize at first. I'll be getting eye surgeries once, twice a year till I'm fucking 80.
Because when David would toe the line for his vlogs, he was doing so with people that he had a lot of power over. I mean, looking back, David had risen the bar for his pranks to a level that was kind of insane.
The earthquake prompted talk about the San Andreas Fault, which is a huge continental fault that's due to rupture any second, and when it does, it's going to cause serious damage to the West Coast.
I fucking know if the San Andreas Fault were to rupture, you'd be the biggest pussy out of all of us. You'd be the biggest.
That's not.
You would.
No,
you would
it's not true at all.
So naturally, I want to see how you would actually react if the San Andreas Fault was to rupture.
David, is this fake?
Is what?
David, is this fake? You have to tell me right now.
Jason, where are you going?
Jason, where are you going?
Jason, where are you going?
I'm going to kids. I got
Jason. We're not going back there. We're not going out there.
Let me out of the house. I don't care if I go to jail. I'm not staying in a house.
Dude.
I'm gonna hit you. Let me out of the house.
Brandon.
I'm gonna hit you. Let me out of the house.
Why?
Because I need to get out of here.
Brandon, get on the phone with your mom right now and you tell her that this is a prank.
I fucking knew it. There are limits. This right now
is dope.
Who are those people out there?
They're all extras. We hired like 20 extras just to pack their cars.
But step into the shoes of the Vlog Squad members, many of whom already experienced just how quickly careers in content creation can end.
Like literally, I had 3 million on Vine and things were going great.
Yeah.
And off that Vine success, someone gave me a movie.
It'd be a road trip, like Thelma and Louise.
Thelma and Louise commits suicide at the end of that movie.
What?
And then the day the movie came out, Vine was erased.
Even if something crosses the line, could really any of them afford to risk the free exposure to millions that David would provide? Exposure in arguably the most volatile industry in history. I mean, say what you will, but David was putting these creators in a position where, if they played their cards right, they could spend the rest of their lives comfortable with just a weekly podcast. And taking everyone at their word left only two possibilities. Either David was intentionally taking advantage of the desperation of those around him, or, arguably worse, was entirely clueless about the power he had over his so-called friends. So amidst the growing controversy, David released a video responding.
I really appreciate this.
Bro, that's not even the real Jason.
And another.
And I'm sorry if I've let you down, and things like that won't happen again.
And a third for good measure.
And I was making all this content while there was people that were still really hurt by what I made.
But things just weren't the same. I mean, some horrifying things took place on David's watch. And while his fans remained supportive and the views were still great, he was slowly shunned by the rest of the creator community.
David Dobrik, how the fuck is that your official statement?
For people that don't know, David Dobrik just opened up a pizza shop, and he actually got insider information from real Italian chefs on how to make the dough. Want to know yourself? Just Google David Dobrik insider article on Google.
It is interesting that David seemingly stopped doing the extravagant giveaways once he stopped doing the vlogs. I wonder what the correlation there is. That's kind of weird.
This all led to David suddenly vanishing from YouTube in 2022, ending both his vlog and podcast and instead prioritizing Snapchat.
Guys, I ordered a lightsaber from the internet.
Which, yeah, was really smart, as this coincided with Snapchat's push to better monetize in order to attract big names like David. Not to mention that it's much more of a one-way platform, and even better, one that prioritized temporary content. This all meant that there wouldn't be any comments bashing David, all of his content would disappear after a day, and therefore would get less attention. And for the more adult audience that might speak out against him, it was less likely they would stumble upon these uploads at all. So okay, last we saw of David, he was effectively banished from YouTube. But if we fast forward to 2025, what exactly has his grand return to the platform looked like?
Whoa! I've surprised a lot of people with money, and that has never happened.
Really boring, actually. I mean, by all appearances, this dude is just half-assing all of this. At least when we pay attention to the wrong details. Because yes, after his initial January release, David only posted 10 vlogs between July and the start of December 2025. I mean, what a joke that I can't make given my own upload schedule, so feel free to subscribe if you like being ghosted for months on end, only to suddenly wake up to an hour-long video at midnight on a random Monday. Can you tell I'm not a good salesman? Anyway, so it's not a great start, right? I mean, he released a single video, disappeared for 6 months, and then suddenly started posting bi-weekly vlogs? But wait, for someone as meticulous as David,
we'd be up till like midnight just like watching the edits, just like, hey, is this part better or this one's better?
Yeah.
And then he would have everyone just crowd around his bed. I just remember that. I was like, I thought that was insane.
To strive for a bi-weekly upload schedule, only to go on a 6-month hiatus right after their comeback debut. I mean, how does that happen? That debut is still his most viewed video of the year and has almost triple the views of the runner-ups. So for David to completely squander that momentum, that's a mistake of a magnitude that you couldn't even begin to describe, right? Well, it would be if it was a mistake, because I'm very confident that it wasn't, and looking back, I think I know why. You see, the timeline of his uploads do not even tell a fraction of the story here. For example, his first video back, it was the definition of viral bait. Like, if you're not a David Dobrik fan, there's a good chance that this was the only time you heard about him this year. Until now, that is, which... sorry about that. But why? And doesn't this completely go against the thesis of this video, that his comeback is supposed to be underwhelming? Well, there are 3 things about the video that guaranteed it would make waves, which it needed to for the next step of his boring comeback. First, and most importantly, was the premise. The video centered around David's fitness journey of becoming insanely jacked.
Yeah, I've let myself go.
You surpassed me. I look fucking terrible right now. Yes! Oh my god!
Which is bound to catch your eye, right? I mean, the goofy, carefree, childlike prankster suddenly looks like they just walked off of a Marvel set. You don't see that every day.
Your face and that does not go together.
And this was further helped by the second component of this video's virality, which is that, yeah, David's back.
I let go of myself and stopped doing the things that I really enjoyed. And believe it or not, my old podcast was at the top of my list. And there was only one man who missed it more than me.
It's gonna be fun. We're gonna do it again.
Plenty are gonna watch anything he posts in order to catch up with their favorite creator after so much time. And some good timing helped things even further. Though when I say timing, I'm referring to the date it was uploaded on. January 7. But why does that matter? Well, in January, take a look at your favorite YouTubers. There's a good chance that many, if not most of them, take some kind of hiatus from posting that's longer than usual. Or if they are posting, they're using recycled content like compilations. But why? Well, like with far too many things these days, it all revolves around ads. To keep things simple, YouTube effectively runs an instantaneous auction every time it runs ads on a video. So the more money consumers are spending, the more advertisers are willing to spend per impression to get their promotions out there. This translates to creators making way more in November and December before seeing their earnings crater in January. I would argue this worked in David's favor and that he probably timed it that way intentionally. Since YouTube as a platform is moving more slowly thanks to creators taking off, and David doesn't exactly need to worry about short-term profits as much as working class creators, all of this means that on top of the aforementioned viral ingredients, there was just less competition, less chance that David posts his vlog only for some stunt to steal his thunder. Also, if we take a look at January of 2026, by which point he's mostly acting like a typical YouTuber again, he posted a standard vlog on the 1st of the month, and that was it.
Today we're taking a trip. None of you guys know where, because we're gonna throw a dart. Wherever it lands, we gotta go.
Interesting, right? To go from one of his most viral moments being uploaded on January 7th to blending in with the pack and avoiding any attention now that he has an upload schedule again. And such a sharp 180, in my opinion, only furthers what I'm talking about here. And then I'm sure things were only helped by a massive giveaway spree.
So today, they're gonna help me surprise all the Dobrik's employees with Tesla.
As well as some FaceTime with everyone's favorite herald of AI slop here on YouTube.
Bro, you gotta make a return to the vlogs now.
Just because I'm ripped?
Yeah.
But okay, there are a lot of contradictions that seem to be coming out of my mouth. How does a carefully planned viral video lead to a boring comeback? Well, if we assume that every move David makes is intentional, meaning the confusing ones must have an unclear advantage, what was gained by getting all of this attention and not following it up? Well, it got him back to where he hadn't been in years, in public discourse.
What's going on here? Why is everyone acting weird towards me?
He effectively did what Ned Fulmer tried to do by returning with a guaranteed viral video.
3 years ago, I cheated on my wife with my producer. It became a massive public scandal. This is a conversation with Ariel. We knew it would draw a lot of attention.
Basically, David's first vlog back was a billboard, only instead of shooting for Times Square, it was designed for the far more visible trending tab. A billboard that says, hey guys, remember David? Well, he's back now. And then the 6-month hiatus gave him some huge advantages. You see, when a public figure deals with any kind of backlash, there will inevitably be swarms of people who want to ensure that the controversy sticks. They post think pieces or takedowns, they go to everything the creator posts and leave negative engagement while trying to make sure the viewers are aware aware of whatever controversy, but the reality is, sooner or later, they gotta move on, right? Either because someone else sparks controversy or their power goes out. So with David's approach, the most intense of these naysayers will take aim in response to that initial viral video. But because it's a viral video, it'll bury any of those think pieces. No one really cared about David's misdeeds because they were too busy focusing on missed ab days, or lack thereof. But guess who else saw this video? His fans. It ensured that more and more people would go, "Oh yeah, I have a new account, I should make sure I resubscribe." Or, "Oh yeah, David said he's back, I wonder if he's posted." It effectively reminded those who do like him of his existence, renewing their interest with a fresh, novel concept, because this time, David tortured himself instead of his friends.
Jason's about to get bit by a snake.
Get it off me! Oh my god! Get it off, David! David, get it off me! David, get it now, it hurts! I'm not kidding, dude!
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
You, I'm done with your channel. Oh my god, that was awful!
Oh my.
Even better, David was holding these fans to a much lower commitment than said naysayers. I mean, your think piece would have to get a lot of views to outweigh the conversations being had about David. But as a fan, you just had to chill and wait. And hey, maybe the wait would make their anticipation stronger, make them desperate to see what he'll do next. But if we look at the vlogs that followed, they're pretty low-key, at least for David. They're just his typical clickbait titles with conventionally attractive women in the thumbnail. Like, if my eyes skim over his channel, the only recent thumbnail that catches a second glance is the one with David's abs. For content reasons, that's all. But okay, I just threw a lot at you, but why? Why is David taking such a weird approach? Well, the proof is in the pudding, and the pudding's in the views. That made enough sense. If you look at his vlogs since July, what do you notice? All of these videos have almost the exact same number of views, with them all ranging from 3 to just over 4 million. I mean, consistency like that is kind of incredible, and I think this is by design. I believe that David Dobrik, at least currently, is taking a page from Shane Dawson, another creator who's resurfaced behavior.
Because of my videos, now every choice I make, people are going to jump right to racist.
I am not a f***ing pedophile.
Those apologies suck. I don't know who that person is anymore.
An eventual response to, in his case, a different controversy.
You're fake crying. You are fake crying. You are fake crying. That is not real. Oh my god. I was molested. I have been, oh my gosh.
Led to the YouTube audience growing hostile towards him and his temporary departure from the site. What's more, both David and Shane have cracked the code on how to go viral pretty much on command. They understand YouTube on a deeper level than almost anyone, at least when it comes to applying their strengths, but neither can use that knowledge without some Twitter thread going viral about their past misdeeds. So they're making content that isn't meant to grow their brands further. Instead, it just allows them to connect with their audience and otherwise fly under the radar. To an extent, you could also argue this applies to Cody Ko. But maybe I'm reaching and David is still trying to be the next Mr. Beast and gain the crown. Except, you remember his podcast with Jason Nash, Views? Well, it turns out that it's back, which you wouldn't know from looking at their YouTube channel since it's still completely dead, other than posting a single short and not much else.
How many people have you had slept with?
Probably like 100.
Because despite YouTube widely being the best platform to monetize long-form content on...
But regardless, you can see that the live revenue was less on YouTube than it was Twitch, but the overall revenue is substantially higher on YouTube because of the VODs, which is something Twitch just doesn't really have. Your potential to earn while live is much higher on Twitch, but your potential to earn through VODs is astronomically higher on YouTube.
Views is being posted everywhere but YouTube, which is interesting. It's almost like you wouldn't know that this podcast, apparently worth a 7-figure sum, was back at all unless you actively seek out David Dobrik content like some loser. Okay, well, it's different when I do it because... What's more, David is back to posting viral stunts, but on TikTok and TikTok alone.
Get the bottom part on the actual... God, touch it. Oh my god. John, block him. Oh no.
And while some of these moments do appear in his vlogs, they're usually relegated to a brief throwaway segment, like a cold open, with no hint of these climaxes being found anywhere in the titles or thumbnails. You know, the things that market the videos on YouTube. And while he has experimented a bit with YouTube Shorts, let's just say it's not something he's really committing to, which also supports what I'm saying here. The TikTok audience skews younger, so they likely wouldn't know about David's past controversies and honestly, at the risk of sounding patronizing, most of them probably wouldn't grasp the severity of some of David's past missteps. It also allows him to experiment a bit more with seeing the internet's current opinion of him. And if think pieces do start going viral as a result, that would likely be contained to TikTok, which makes them far less likely to contaminate his YouTube momentum. This is kind of similar to Cody Ko soft launching his comeback on his least popular channel.
I also understand if your opinion of me has potentially changed over the last few months. You know, being creative, doing this type of thing and putting it out there, it's just in my DNA. I need to do it, and so I'm gonna do it.
Before eventually returning to the more popular ones.
So I thought today would be fun to, again, take a trip down memory lane.
And when it comes to his YouTube shorts, two things stand out. One, they didn't do all that well, at least for David. But also, I think it's worth pointing out that short form content tends to have a shorter shelf life, meaning it can be a great way to get a lot of eyes on something, but people move on from them much more quickly. I mean, when's the last time you saw a TikTok or short garner the months of conversation that H-Bomber Guy's plagiarism video sparked? They also have a pretty spotty record in terms of getting viewers to watch your long-form content.
So Todd is actually the head of discovery at YouTube.
When we first launched Shorts, a viewer would go and maybe they go into Shorts and watch like 200 short videos. The algorithm actually basically stopped recommending those viewers long-form content in the main YouTube.
So for YouTube Shorts, that's kind of a lose-lose for David, since a viral short would make waves on the platform that he needs to remain neutral to him, but with limited upside since they won't attract the level of conversation as, say, his transformation. So yeah, I think David's intention is primarily to reestablish his past YouTube following while carefully growing on other platforms rather than aiming for the constant virality that would lead to more hostility from other YouTubers. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if David does start going for those viral mainstream vlogs down the road. Like if he has a strong enough foundation of followers supporting him again, they would drown out whatever negativity. Or even if not, he'll be sitting pretty just off of what he's doing now. I mean, in fairness, he did seem deeply affected by both the loss of his reputation as well as the harm that was brought to light.
And I was making all this content while there was people that were still really hurt by what I made.
Taking him at face value, because I'm not going to basically say he was being fake, I don't think he wants the negative attention. I think he's largely just after a piece of the good old days, both in terms of making his vlogs, but also his connection to his fans and making money. Well, yes, Snapchat being a one-way platform was a great boon to him, I could also imagine this low-effort, isolated content feeling kind of empty, hollow.
Would I be on TikTok Live if I wasn't in like a financial hole? I don't know, probably not. But also, like, YouTube wasn't really working, and I needed to find something. Listen, it is what it is. It's like, I was on Vine, I was on YouTube, I was on Snapchat, and now I'm doing this.
Especially compared to redefining a dying genre on YouTube.
David Dobrik invented a genre on YouTube. Then what he does is completely new, and no one did that before him, period. And that's what I mean by finding your voice. Remember the first time I saw Dobrik's vlog, I was like, what is this? This is nonsense. And it's amazing. And no one does that. Now that's becoming a thing. These like series of just relentless, hilarious non sequiturs. That is brilliant. And he brought that to the medium.
There's also the fact that his return to YouTube also helps out his friends, some of whom were facing genuine hardship that, would be fixed by David's return.
He calls me to play pool, and I'm like, I gotta go live, and I don't expect him to understand that. Like I know I've told him. There's also things that I like say to him, and I'm not sure if he hears me. Like I'll say things like, "I'm losing my house," and he'll be like, "Oh, but just come play pool."
I mean, whether you see David as the tycoon or sweet cheerleader for his friends, it makes sense to return without making too many waves. And even further supporting this are his stats. His subscriber number is holding strong. It's not really moving up or down. He's replacing the ones trickling out more or less while they go, rather than trying to outpace the loss by aiming for maximum view counts. It's also worth noting that David keeping his head down makes even more sense given that many of his vocal accusers are themselves prolific creators now, ones who will not hesitate to bring him negative press even now.
He was saying what I said about how uncomfortable I would feel. He's like, when he was dating Natalie, David would make jokes about her and like Ilya having sex and stuff like that while she was dating Todd. So I'd be pissed too. I'd be like, what the like. That's what I was doing when I was dating somebody. He was just like trying to get him to hook up with other people, and it's like you're kind of like in the moment. I guess you're like, I guess this is fine because we're all like profiting, we're all like getting views or whatever. But then afterwards, you're kind of like, you're a psychopath.
He said he took no responsibility for it. He took no accountability.
None.
He blamed me.
He didn't just blame you. The friendship fun Casey David thing was over the minute that story came out.
If you're David, then think about it. Chances are the people watching those creators aren't about to turn around and watch him, so it's safe to call that an anticipated loss. And every time someone talks about the same topic, people care less. So let's say creators like Jeff or Trisha continue talking negatively about David now while no one cares about him. If later he starts recapturing some of that mainstream attention, they'll have already talked about him so many times that the message loses so much of its impact. And honestly, worst case, David having Mr. Beast in his corner is a huge boon. Jimmy seems like a fan since he always admires people that innovate on YouTube and blaze the trail for him.
Bro, you gotta make a return to the vlogs now.
Just because I'm ripped?
Yeah.
Saw the plate, I was like, I need to smash it. It took me back to 2017.
Yeah, when you used to smash plates in your vlogs.
And we already know from his favors to Logan Paul, like giving him exclusive access to the raw footage of a shoot so that he could discredit the creators that gave his crypto scam negative coverage.
They've all made a series of videos talking mad. They're on that wave.
To be clear, I wasn't talking shit. He had done a scam with CryptoZoo and had put people out, I think the equivalent of almost 2 million USD.
And he was very respectful, took full responsibility and accountability in person, so I was more than willing to be mature about this. Since then, he is now apparently suing CoffeeZilla. Either Logan or someone on his team is suing CoffeeZilla, which is a massive fucking L. That is brain dead activity for sure. But when this was filmed, that wasn't happening.
I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if David's potential value as a collaborator pushes Jimmy to provide him with similar favors. All this is to say that David Dobrik is arguably more successful than ever. It's just that his goals have changed, and thus so has the metric by which we measure said success. Are the views back to what they were? No, but I mean, they're still wildly impressive given how he took a years-long hiatus and returned with a format that isn't exactly optimal on YouTube anymore. What's more, if his goals are in fact to re-establish his name and brand while remaining under the radar just enough to avoid someone's anti-David think piece going viral, he's doing a great job. Taking the time to reestablish a strong foundation now can only give him more options down the road when he has enough information to start making long-term plans again. So while David Dobrik is best known for his constantly viral output, it just might serve him better to stand back and let a measly 4 million views suffice. That way, no video involving David Dobrik can strike it big without his approval. And that's totally why this video doesn't have 1 million views, by the way, because without such aggressive defense being played, I always pull those kinds of numbers, but please don't fact check that, guys, okay?